Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here today to talk with my really good friend, Susan, who is a fellow health coach. And we're going to talk today about sleep and the importance of sleep. And obviously, it is one of the pillars of my protocol when we do health coaching because sleep, honestly, is one of the best things that we can do for our body and for our mind. And so I'm excited to dive in today. We're going to give Susan a few minutes to really get in here today. Before we get started, I can tell you a little bit about me if you haven't met me yet. Hello, my name is Erica. I'm a health coach, a nurse, and an NLP practitioner. I also do aromatherapy and as an aromatherapist and have a line of essential oils to really help um, my clients and my and everyone else that I sort of work with to have. Definitely DM me. There is a couple posts that I do about it, and yeah, I think Susan now finally has been able to join us. Susan, are you with us? Yay! Hi, Susan. So good to see you
Hi.
today.
My very first live.
Oh, so exciting. Thank you so much for doing this with me
I'm
then.
excited as well. It's going to be great information and a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I gave a little bit of intro. Again, we're here to do sleep and talk about the importance of it, especially as we age and, all of the ways that we can help support our body naturally to invoke that sleep. So Susan, I gave everyone a little bit of intro about me, but if you would like to just share a little bit about yourself before we get started, I would love that.
Sure, sure. So I am a health coach and I work with women who are in midlife and older who notice that their health is not what it used to be and they're just not happy with how they look, how they feel. And it's through a lot of alternative healing that I introduce them to. Simple lifestyle changes like good sleep, for example. I'm also a Reiki master, so I incorporate that as well. And I'm a podcaster. I have a podcast that's called Susan Lopresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul. And today is 3 years to the day that I
Oh my
started.
goodness, that's so exciting. Oh, congratulations. That's a
Thank you.
huge
Thank you.
achievement. Yeah, I know. You and I love talking about Reiki and all the ways to help us a little bit more alternatively. And
Yes.
obviously, the small changes that we can sort of do every day. Because I think people always have this misconception that they have to do like a whole over and it's like very overwhelming. And really, it's not. And that's what I love whenever we have our conversations, is just
Yes.
really getting into what are simple ways that people can just make themselves feel better.
Absolutely, because when you get into something that's really complicated and you're focusing on a diet where you're measuring ounces and the timing of things like that are not sustainable long
Yeah.
term. So we don't want to complicate life more than it's already kind of complicated and we're busy and everyone's busy. So it's easy, simple lifestyle changes that really can make the biggest
Yeah.
difference. That's
Yeah.
my philosophy.
Same. That's
Yeah.
why we're friends.
Yes.
All right, let's kind of get a little started. I feel like the first thing that I always like to talk about when it comes to sleep is just kind of the importance of it. I know you and I have spoke so much about brain health. So
Yes.
for those who are listening, sleep is actually something that helps your brain tremendously. It helps actually, we have a ton of fluid in our brain. And so sleep during that time actually helps clear out all the bad fluid or all the used fluid and sort of regenerates it, which helps our brain to function better when we wake up.
Right. And I think we have to be in a certain brain wave
Hmm.
before that actually kicks in. So I'm not sure if it's delta. I'm not sure which brain wave it is, but you need to be in a good sleep
Yeah.
to in order for that to kick in. And that's really so important because Alzheimer's and dementia
Right.
is it's an epidemic at this point. I feel like so many people have it, and there's so many lifestyle changes that we could be incorporating into our daily life to help improve that, and sleep is key. It
Yeah.
really is.
It is true that it is certain types of sleep. So I know by some of my clients that I work with, the women, they always say that I got sleep, but I don't feel rested in the morning. And
Right.
that's usually because you didn't go through all the different cycles. And there's a couple of different cycles that our brain has to go through in order to sort of clear out the gunk and for it to do repair, because that's also when our body tends to repair our muscles, repair our neurotransmitters, repair or hormones and like kind of rebalance everything. And I think people don't quite understand or value that nearly as much. I think I've heard, I don't know about you, but I've heard people like, oh, like I haven't slept in a week, not a big deal. I'm like, no, that's a huge
Right.
deal.
Or I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, you'll be dead a lot quicker if you're not sleeping.
Yes, that one all the time. All the time. I'm like, no, that's not what we want.
No. But as midlife women, it is more difficult,
Yes.
because our hormones are all over the place. So I feel that there has to be like a bedtime ritual
Yeah.
that prepares us to get
Yeah.
into the whole mindset, and we could talk about that because there's a lot of things that we can
Yeah.
do.
And not even, I mean, yes, midlife women have a change, but like even women who are working professionals or moms, I feel like there's always this chance where they don't really get the sufficient sleep. And by sufficient, as we said, go through all the different cycles throughout the night and really get that deep sleep that we need to kind of rejuvenate our body in the morning. And I know we talked about this before, but like I thought one of the most interesting things when we were trying to discussing about us coming together and talking about sleep was this journal that I read that was, I think 33% they said if you don't get proper sleep, you're 33% more likely to have insulin resistance, which is huge impact on your
Yeah.
health, especially when it comes to like as you age, because as you age, you become insulin resistant a bit more naturally because your hormones are shifting and your body is shifting. And now you're adding a complex part of sleep. And if that's increases it by that much percent, like to me, it's one of those wake up calls of like, wow, this stuff is so important and people need to know about it.
Yes. And it's connected. So, having high insulin levels is what they call type 3 diabetes this day,
Mhm.
which again is involved with brain health
Um,
and causing Alzheimer's. So, everything is all connected in our body, and we really need to pay attention to it because a lot of women at night they'll sit in front of the TV and they may start snacking, and that's the worst time to be snacking on something sweet because you're not going to start exercising at 10 o'clock at night, and you're going to bed and your body has to metabolize all of that, and
yeah,
you're just putting
up
more strain.
or they wake up in the middle of the night. I have a client that I was talking to and she was waking up in the middle of the night because she was hungry. And I was like, well, it's probably connected to the fact of what are you eating right before bed? Because if we, as we know, like our blood sugar sort of spikes. If it spikes too high, it will dip, and then that's when we start to feel that instant carb of like, oh my gosh, I need bread, I need a sweet, I need something quick to give me energy because our brain is thinks that it's low, even though it might not be.
Right.
It's
Right.
so interesting. Um, the other thing I was going to say is that I don't know about you, but I mean, I notice it in myself, like the days that I don't sleep well, I wake up the next morning and I'm starving. I like am irritable. I don't feel good. And it's all because my body didn't get to go into its natural rest and repair cycle.
Yeah. Well, for me, at my age, what I notice more than that, if I don't get a good night's sleep, the next day, I'm just not quick on my game,
Yes.
you know, uh, and I'm sluggish more mentally than physically for me. I see it. I see it in myself. And so I know what I need to do. And that's why, I said about rituals. I have a whole protocol that I do in the evening to get me ready to go to
Yes.
sleep. You know?
Same. I think we all need it. We all need like our mental breakdown of like,
Yes.
okay, like let's relax and get into that sleep. So I feel like that's like a good part of like talking about what the rituals are. And I always like to say, the first thing that it starts with is you back it up 2 hours. What are you doing
Yes.
2 hours before bed?
Right. Well, definitely electronics should be turned off at least 2 hours. Even TV. I feel like for me, I can't watch TV and then turn it off and go to sleep. Because if I go into bed right after watch, especially some kind of a show where it's like high intensity, how are you supposed to wind down after
Yeah.
that, So I like to turn the TV off and get things quiet, lower the lights,
Yeah.
and I have such bright lights on. And for me, like I love an Epsom salt bath in the evening. That helps me. I read in the evening, which will make me tired because your eyes start getting heavy, when you're reading at
Yeah.
night. So things like that. And also your bedroom, how it should be prepared, because that is key as well. So I don't know if you want to talk about that
Yeah,
for
no, I agree with
yourself.
you wholeheartedly. A routine to me is super important. My routine is a little different. I do start to dim the lights, and as you said, because if we think about it, what's the thing that wakes us up in the mornings? It's
Right.
sunlight. And like I love getting fresh sunlight, and I know you do too. We've talked about this because that starts your circadian rhythm. And so by dimming the lights, you're actually telling your body, okay, now it's time to start to calm down. Now it's time to start for us to go to sleep. We're supposed to relax. And something I always do to myself, because coming from like a mindset side of it, is I'm big on creating this mantra every night. It's like, I'm so excited to sit down and lay down and get restful sleep. Like I'm so excited to give my body an opportunity to repair itself. And I'm going to get such beautiful sleep and wake up tomorrow feeling rested and rejuvenated. And because to me, I think a lot of anxiety also is wrapped up in not being able to sleep. I've had it in the past where I've woken up and like, okay, if I go to bed now, I have 8 hours of sleep. Okay, if I go to bed now, I have 6 hours to go. Like, and I'm working myself up because I'm just so anxious about missing the alarm or missing something that I need to remember the next day. And so for me, a big part of that is setting like pre-framing my mind of like we are going to get restful sleep, like it's time to just calm down now. And to me, I can actually feel the difference when I've started to implement this into my daily routine of just, okay, Erica, it's time for sleep. So exciting. We're going to go to bed now. Like, and it makes me happy. Like my husband makes fun of me all the time. He's like, you're the happiest person when you're on your way to bed. And I was like, yeah, I
You
love
know, I know. If I have a bad day, if something goes on and someone gets me mad or something just goes wrong, I like to
it.
journal about it
Yes.
at night. And I'll write, and even if I have to tell someone off, I'm writing in my journal, you were a jerk today,
Yes.
whatever. Just to, so that I don't take it into the bed with me and start thinking about it. You get the thoughts out, and yeah, it sounds crazy, but your mind is, it works like that, and you just release it. And now I feel better because I told that person off, even though they don't know I told
Yeah.
them off.
Yes.
I wrote it in my journal. And it just helps. Like anything that you could do to make your nighttime routine more relaxing and just get you into the mood of falling asleep. And I know when I was in my mid 40s and I was really having trouble falling asleep, at night, I would get so anxious about it because I knew I was going to be twisting and turning. And I had that in my mind hours before going to bed. And sure enough, while I was in bed, I was twisting and turning.
Yeah.
So I really had to come up with tools to, prepare
Yeah.
me for bed in the
Of
proper
course.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not being stressed out about going to sleep.
Yeah, because our mind controls our body. So if we're going into bed being like, "Oh my God, I hope I sleep tonight,"
Yeah.
like chances are you're not going to sleep tonight.
Well, I used to say, I know I'm not sleeping tonight. I
Yeah.
know I don't even know why I'm going in bed because I'm not going to fall asleep. Oh, yeah, why don't you just tell
Yeah.
yourself that? And sure enough.
I know. It's so terrible in that sense. So it is something that I used to do too, and I feel like that this new mantra has really been helping me of like, we're excited, let's go to sleep now. Like
Whatever
yeah,
works.
whatever
Yes,
works.
whatever.
But you mentioned journaling, and I totally agree with that. But I do it a little differently. So I have like a brain dump journal. So like I keep something by my bed and I will write down anything that I want to remember. So like if I'm getting to bed and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to remember to like pick this up from the grocery store, or I need to remember to email this person back. I will write it out because if I don't, I will consistently keep that in my mind and not actually ever calm down because I'm so worried about forgetting. Or if there's like, I want to text my sister and call her tomorrow, like remember to do that. Like I will just write it down. Or even in the middle of the night, I've woken up a couple of times and been like, had this like the idea of something, or like was like woken up because like I was frustrated by someone and I didn't really realize it until I dreamt about it or something like that. And I've woken up in the middle of the night and like, as you said, written down like, like a conversation that I wish I had with that person in
Yes.
the middle of the night. And then I'm like, okay, close the journal, go back to sleep,
You
Erica. It's out there.
feel better.
Yeah.
Yes, you let it go. You let
Yeah.
it go. And I think that's really key.
Yeah.
Another thing for me, because I live in the city, well, not New York City, but I live in Queens and I'm on a very busy street
Yeah.
because there's a shopping center down the block and all the trucks are going back and forth. So for me, I bought blackout shades and
Yes.
also blackout curtains so that the sound, hopefully, and I'm on the fifth floor, but you still hear it and there's horns and stuff like that. So I try to make it as dark as possible and as quiet as possible. That's one of the things
Yeah.
that I do. And I think clutter in your bedroom is also not
Yeah.
a good thing.
Well, I think they say what cluttering your space ends up cluttering your mind a little bit sometimes. So it will just continue to clutter your, at least for me too, like if I have a cluttering bedroom, I'm just cluttering in my mind and I'm
Right,
picking everything up and like organizing it in my
right,
sleep for some whatever reason. Like it doesn't turn my brain off.
right.
um but yeah, I'm a huge fan. I actually use sleep masks because
Oh, my
I
daughter does too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I'm like a huge advocate for it. And the reason why I do it is honestly, I end up pulling it off in the middle of the night so I can wake up to the sun.
Ah,
Like naturally, I like take it off so that way in the morning when I get bright sunlight, I naturally will then wake up to the sun. There's very few nights where that sleep mask ends up staying on my face. So to me, it's like the way that I'm like, okay, I'm like bringing the nighttime and like the darkness in, but I know knowingly that we'll take it off in the middle of the night so I can wake up to like the
yeah,
sunlight, which I love to do.
yeah. Yes, I
And
know.
the other thing you mentioned earlier is desks. I feel like in New York City specifically, which is where we both work, getting a space for a proper office when you work from home is so not heard of these days. And it is really a shame because having a desk in your room can really affect your sleep if you're not able to break it down or like find a way to do a ritual of like closing that space off, because
Yes.
naturally your mind is going to like associate your bedroom then with work, and your mind's not actually going to associate your bedroom with sleep and relaxation.
Yeah. Well, I don't even believe in having a laptop or a computer in your bedroom. And also any kind of like bills and stuff like that, that should be in a totally different room. A
Yeah.
lot of people have like a little office in their bedroom, and I feel that it's not good. I
Yeah.
believe that your bedroom is for two things, sex and sleep.
Yeah.
I don't believe in having a television, and my partner and I, we
Same.
disagree on that big time. But I'm sorry, if you want to watch TV, the living room is that way.
Yeah. No,
That's why
it
they call it a living room. So you.
exactly. Um But no, I think for me, at least me, I had to struggle with it because I didn't have enough space when we first
Right.
moved. And so we were living in a one bedroom and both of us, me and my partner, had to work. And so we were kind of forced to, I had my office in the bedroom, and it was the first time where I was like, oh boy, like I consciously was like, I need to make sure that I figure out a way to sort of disassociate my bedroom with the office. And what I ended up doing was every time I would shut my computer down, I would like put it in the desk drawer and sort of
Oh, that's
close the
good.
office for the day and put everything away. So that way it was not something that I was supposed to be. That's like my disassociation. Like anytime I shut the laptop, anytime I put it in the drawer, I was like, okay, work is done.
Yeah.
Now this space is now closed for that. And to me, like, because it was the best that I could do, it was like the only way I could figure out how to dissociate. So for people who do have small spaces, I do think, as you said, like having it, if you cannot have your desk in your room, amazing. Like that is the ideal in my book. But if you can't, it's developing some sort of way where you can disassociate from the fact that this no longer is the importance in this room. Like we are done with this.
Yes.
We're over, and now let's sort of step away from that. And that can be challenging for people.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that if you have a fairly large bedroom, those screens,
Yes.
you could block it off like that. And so almost like close it off at
Yeah.
5 o'clock. That's it. It's like leaving the office.
Yeah. Essentially, my desk and my drawer is like left the office. No one talked to me. We're done.
Yeah. So that's key. And I think like having bills and paperwork and
Yeah.
piles of stuff is also, you just want to be able to relax and calm down and just, unwind from the day because we all have stressful days. I mean, even working from home or whatever it is, there's always stress going on. There's always a to-do list that's a mile long. And if you're taking that to bed with you at night, it's not possible to have a good night's sleep. It really
Yeah,
isn't.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so the other thing I know sorry, go ahead.
No, go
I was going to say
ahead.
the other thing I know that people, at least a lot of clients come to me for is supplements. And what supplements to take. And I don't know if what your practice is, but the things that I usually recommend are like L-theanine and ashwagandha, and sometimes actually like sleepy time teas like chamomile and
Yes.
things like that. That can be like really good as like a ritual for like before you go to sleep as part
Yes.
of your wind down. Like I do that sometimes when I've had a particularly stressful day. I'll brew myself a cup of tea and like sit. And right now I'm really into knitting, so I've sat and
Oh,
knitted.
that's cool. Yeah, that's very nice. Very nice. For me, I do melatonin and I also take magnesium at
Yes,
night.
magnesium, of course. How did I even?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And also, if I do an Epsom salt bath, obviously there's magnesium in there as well. And I always use the one, I use Teal's and the one that has the lavender. And I
Mm.
just love it. I could get into a tub and just relax. And when I get out, I make sure that my bedding, my clothing is 100% cotton, especially for women who are going through night sweats and all of that. It's so important to have uh, natural fibers on your bedclothes and also your
Yeah.
sheets.
I
So
actually, my husband and I
important.
started sleeping on a cooling mattress. Probably the
Oh,
best decision we've ever made in our lives, because you really do need a cool environment regardless of age. And like specifically, I know is so important when you're going through the night sweats, because your body wants to sleep at a cooler temperature than it is usually outside. And so that has been like a game changer for us and for our sleep habit.
oh, when I'm due for a new mattress, I'm going to
I'll
call
let you
you to
know.
find.
It's actually just
Oh,
our mattress cover. We use
wow.
8 Sleep.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
so we just kind of cover our mattress with it, and it funnels water through the mattress at night. Some people don't like it. My sister, for whatever reason, thinks it's uncomfortable, but I am a huge fan of it.
Interesting. What's it called again?
8 Sleep.
Oh, okay. Eight sleep.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. And being an aromatherapist, I actually use my aromatherapy oils that I make at night too. I have one that's like with like lavender and lang lang and frankincense that I use every night to help me sort of like, again, relax, calm down, and get
Tell
into
me
like
about the lang lang. What is that good for?
Lang Lang is really good for like a harmonizing. It's like very good in harmonizing your hormones. It's really good at creating a sedative state. So it really helps to relax your central nervous system. So it's kind of a good combination with lavender.
And what was the other one that you said?
Frankincense.
Oh, yeah. So frankincense, isn't that good for your skin?
Yeah, it is. So I use it partially in this blend because the blend is like relax, and use it partially for the blend because it is on your skin, so I want it to be nourishing. But
Okay.
also frankincense has a very like grounding effect on our
Oh,
like in our body. So part of what I've noticed is that if I don't feel grounded, and as like a Reiki therapist, we can kind of understand that it's like your body needs to feel very grounded and very
yes.
centered in order to get let yourself relax into that sleep. So that's why I put it in there, is it creates this like grounding effect.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great idea. I always thought it was, I mean, I have frankincense. I use it a lot on my
A
skin.
super great for
Yeah,
your skin.
yeah. Very cool. So
Yeah.
do you sell those?
I do. I do sell them. They are each oil that I make three different types, but the relaxed one is $15. It's actually on my website now. So it's very live. And if anyone is interested in it, they can certainly
Oh,
DM me and I can give more information. But yeah, um, I made them a while ago, probably like 4 years ago, and was just giving them out to friends and family. And they're like, you should sell this and make it more available. And I was like, okay,
yeah, why not? Right?
why not?
Don't
And now
keep
it's
it to
helping people sleep.
yourself.
Yeah. Now I'm sharing my wealth and knowledge so that people can sleep.
Yeah. I mean, so many women that I talk to, that's one of their biggest issues is
Yeah.
sleeping, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure. And I would say I think sleep is something that is, as we both talked about, such a pillar for health. And to me, the easiest place that you can start if you want to make one change, I think sleep is probably to me the first thing that you change.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It really
Yeah.
does.
Um, so I think we are kind of at our time. I
Oh,
don't want to
yeah,
keep people on too much. That was so fun. It was
it
so nice to
was.
chat. Susan, if you want to give everyone just a little bit of places that they can, information about how they can reach you, or ways that they can interact with you again, if they're interested, I think that would be helpful.
Sure. So you could reach me at email, Susan at susanlopresti.com, which is super easy. And then my website is susanlopresti.com as well. And so is my Instagram here.
Super
So
easy.
yes, I make life very simple. I don't want to complicate anything. And I also have my podcast that you could listen to, and that's Susan Lopresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul. And maybe I could put the links
Yeah,
down. Yeah,
on the
I
comments.
will.
That would be great.
Yes, yes.
And if anyone hasn't checked out Susan's podcast, it's fantastic. It's so interesting. You go dive into such variety of places that I think is so important, because as I think we both kind of talk about, is health is never one thing. It's kind of this holistic look at it. And so we have to look at each different part and try and figure out how to make small changes to that part to make ourselves feel a little bit better.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And if
Absolutely.
anyone is interested in connecting with me, you can find me here at Health E Wellness on my Instagram, or Health E by Erica at gmail.com, or my website, healthebyierica.com. Life is easy when everything matches.
Absolutely, absolutely. Erica, this was so much fun. Thank you for inviting me. I loved it. We'll come on again and do it another
Yeah,
topic.
maybe part two. I feel like we just scratched the
Right.
surface of
We,
sleep.
we really did. We really did. But it was great. Thank you. I hope everyone enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
me too. Thank you all for joining, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Susan.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of your day,
You
Erica.
too. Bye.
Bye.